think that's exactly what you're getting to about the difference between tailoring something to the individual and having something that's based on the average of the group. You know, I think one of the things that sometimes my athletes find hard, and also when external people come and spend time with us, they struggle with the concept that, like, we'll have 10 people on the track and we'll have 8 different sessions going at the same time. Yet they all do a lot of events that cross over. And it's like, why do you have so many different things? And it's, you know, maybe I've drunk the Kool-Aid too much with individualization, but I'm trying to optimize what's good for that person. You know, and that's the concept that I think is hard to do, because it's obviously time consuming. And when you're actually out on the field or the track, it's really difficult to be able to monitor that and look at what's going on. And okay, you go, you stop, wait for this person. All right, you two are going. And you're constantly trying to pair people up to do things together because you want that level of competitiveness, but it's a challenge. And, you know, I mentioned yesterday that discussion that I had with one of my mentors. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was saying, like, his style is much more where he really likes people working together. He really likes that atmosphere of trying to create this sort of competitive environment, and he's really trying to foster that. I said, well, what does that mean for, you know, the people who are, say, and he tends to sort of create almost a hierarchy in his group, sort of like there's the top dog, and then you know the people kind of learn from the top
the rookies
person.
and all this.
Yeah, and it works really, really well, I think, in certain ways, much more than the system that maybe I use in the dynamics of my group, but it creates its inherent problem, which is you probably then have to recruit people who fit the profile of what you try to do, and you probably have to get them young so that their system is very, very open to adapting to that style of training.
Well, I was about to say, part of that is also personalities then too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But I think also what you're highlighting here is load, whether we're thinking about like physical load or even when we think about non-physical factors that determine your recovery or readiness, is influenced by so many other things. Like, for instance, phenotype is a big one. I know we've talked about this before, but we see clearly some disparity on individuals' response to training loads based on, say, their muscle typology. And I know that this is something that we've talked about before, and you even see it within speed athletes, where even though you've got mainly short sprinters or short distance sprinters, there's a variation in that more ultra-fast twitch versus, say, that more hybrid type. And so if you're not taking those things into consideration, you start to see variation in their response. I mean, that's something that I know you've talked a lot about.
Yeah, it is interesting, and you just have to be willing to kind of consistently observe what's going on and consistently monitor that. I think that's the big challenge for people who are working in, whether it's in a clinical setting or even in a team setting particularly, because you've got so many people that you're trying to get information about. And, you know, in the next couple of weeks, we've got some really good sports professionals coming on, and I'm really interested to kind of pick their brain about how they're trying to create an understanding of this kind of problem, because to me, I personally at the moment don't see any way around it other than really individualizing what you're doing, or at a minimum at least profiling down to subgroups that are similar and having those groups kind of work